Hi, this is Dr. Arvind Poswal from Dr. A's Clinic, Delhi, India. Today we will be talking about the epigenetic approach to hair loss or androgenic alopecia. Androgenic alopecia, common baldness or even pattern baldness as it is called, is a genetic problem that is triggered by epigenetic influences. Unlike previous times when it was supposed that genes are the sole reason why we lose hair, now epigenome has been found to play a decisive role. If you are bald, then high quality, ultra refined FUE hair transplant surgery is the treatment of choice because it is not barbaric like the strip surgery, will not leave a linear scar like a strip surgery, especially where there is significant thinning or baldness. Now, in this, it is important to remember that hair transplant is an art performed through surgery. So, a few things are very important. One of them is a natural result. Whenever the doctor transplants the hair, it should have absolutely correct angles, directions, densities, design, everything. So I take care of that for my patients by ensuring absolutely natural angle, direction, densities of the transplanted grafts. But equally important is something else, something that patients frequently forget, and that is density. How many grafts are to be transplanted per square centimeter of the balding or bald area? In 25 years of my experience in this field, I found that no one is satisfied by a low density hair transplant. A low density hair transplant, remember, is a compulsion because doctors did not used to have enough donor hair at their disposal in earlier times. That time they used to take out grafts only from the head. So 3000 grafts or maybe 4000 grafts was usually the upper limit. So they used to tell these graft numbers even if the person is very bald, saying that okay, it is an illusion of coverage and we will be able to do something. Which unfortunately some patients used to think that what the doctor means is that this will give them a full head of hair. So let's be very precise. A full head of hair contains 40,000 graft. So when you have half your head bald, that means you are talking of 20,000 grafts. You are not having that many grafts, and we are not into a competition with nature or God. What we have to do is try to see how much maximum hair I can get. So in this way thing, I'll advise you to not only approach doctors asking them how much grafts I need, you actually understand how much grafts will be required. So you can go for various densities in your recipient area. The density should be such that it should not be too thin, not that a gust of wind comes and then you can't hide your baldness. So that is one thing, density. So when we know that density is required and there is a large area that needs to be covered, that means grafts number will have to be higher. Unfortunately, even today, where there are some doctors who can barely take out 3000 grafts, there are others like ours, we can do 7000 to 8000 grafts routinely. And we can transplant up to 15,000 grafts in one session if the patient has sufficient beard, scalp, and if possible, even the chest hair. So that gives an option of a much better realistic coverage. But that will be only till patients understand this. If you remain under the mistaken notion that if the doctor is saying 4000 grafts will give you a full head of hair, then there is no magic in mathematics. Those numbers are not going to play out to your favor. If you have lost 20,000 grafts, if you are a Norwood 5, Norwood 5 has lost almost 50% of his hair. So that's why I say 20,000 grams. Then you are not going to get a fullness of hair that you really are looking for. Now the times have improved. The science has progressed to a much higher level. You should look at towards your donor which is available. Look towards your beard, your head donor, your body hair donor with a very practical eye that these are the hair which you will ultimately use to keep on filling your head as much as you want, to as much density, to as much lowering of the hairline, etc., as you desire, not what is dictated only by a doctor. Of course, if you desire something that is wrong or ugly, then I will refuse, and I assume all other ethical doctors will also do. But for the other thing, you have to understand this. Take responsibility for your own hair transplant. Design it. I will be asking you about the hairline, what sort of a hairline you want, etc. So, a great hair transplant, therefore, is one where the patient puts forward his choice of hairline design. You tell me what hairline you want. You tell me where you want dense hair. Then you tell me where all you want to fill with those hair. After that, the doctor or me, my responsibility is to give it a natural look and also the best possible density using all the available grafts from your scalp, beard and body donor areas. So this clarity is very important if as a patient you want to achieve the best results with the FUE hair transplant surgery. Remember now for most hairy people, most Indians, we can comfortably do 15,000 grafts. That means it will achieve coverage over a large area. But of course, there is a limiting factor that these 15,000 grafts will not be ideal. By ideal, I mean they won't be absolutely like your scalp hair because we'll be using beard hair and body donor hair here also. Those hair may be sometimes more curly, sometimes thicker, coarser. So, as an artist, you are looking for an artist in your doctor. So as an artist, I will never use beard hair in the temple points or the hairline and such other things. So all those things, the designing, etc., I will discuss also with you, and every doctor should. So that is about the ultra refined hair transplant and how you decide on your own graft numbers. Now back to the epigenome and how we can modify it for better hair growth. So for the remaining areas where the patient is noticing early hair fall or diffuse thinning, it is important that we improve the epigenome of the patient. Epigenome can be best described as the inner environment of the body, especially the environment around our genes. The epigenome is affected by a wide variety of things, including diet, lack of exercise or enough exercise, stress, any severe illness, pollution, etc. So, a stressed or flawed epigenome is a reason why we find one, people losing hair 10 to 15 years before their previous generation. We often come across patients who come to us, sometimes 20 years of age, sometimes 25 or 22, saying that they have a lot of hair loss. Now, this research we have been carrying out for the past 20 years. The moment I ask, when did your father or grandfather lose hair? They will always say, yes, it may be genetic, but they lost hair at least 10 to 15 years after what the current generation is losing hair. So, this tells you something. Something is wrong. What is it that the previous generations had that you do not have? So what is wrong is the epigenome. We have so much pollution, so much stress. The diet is not good enough. We eat things from outside, ready to cook, preservative containing things, and many a times hardly any exercise. Illness, of course, you must have seen so many illnesses, even the recent COVID pandemic. A lot of hair is lost. Why in illness? Because the body needs its own antibodies, so all the proteins go there, all the amino acids, all the omega acids are used up in that. The virus on its side, it also needs a lot of nutrition, so it also uses. When nutrition from both the sides is used up, then the influence is burnt by the borne by the hair. The hair, being the fastest growing organ of the body, needs energy, NAD, and the nutrients to multiply, grow. And when those nutrients go elsewhere in the body, the hair is deprived of those nutrition and it goes into a resting phase. It does not grow, it sheds. That is nowadays called telogen effluvium. But analyze what is happening behind it. Behind it, the epigenome is getting stressed out. That is why the hair is going away. So it makes sense that if we improve the epigenome, the hair will come back. And that has been seen for ages in ladies who lose a lot of hair after childbirth. That is also called telogen effluvium. They regain those hair if they have good nutrition and they don't stress them a lot and they rest enough. So, this thing is something which you have to keep in mind. Also, when you are thinking of your own hair fall, remember and investigate that the hair fall will be preceded by an adverse event, sometimes 2 or 3 months before that hair fall. Event like an illness, a change of diet, maybe a change of location, maybe you have shifted from your home to a hostel in another city where you don't have sufficient good home cooked food, sufficient nutrition. Maybe sometimes you are just enjoying life so much that you are not looking after those things. So that can also cause this. Till recent times, we doctors did not used to pay attention to these factors, taking them to be incidental in a disease which we believed that was largely governed by our genes. However, if it was governed by our genes alone, like your eye color is governed by your genes, so you are born with either a blue eye, brown eye, black eye. But the hair loss gene is something which is sleeping at the time when we were born, or we would turn bald by the time we grow up a little. And by the time we reach our teenage, there is so much testosterone that we all should have been bald by about 18 years of age. So that does not happen. That is because this gene is different. It stays shut or sleeping. The bad epigenome is what triggers it to wake up and start affecting our scalp, our hair roots in such a way as to weaken them, and then the DHT is able to damage them. So correcting these epigenetic anomalies can go a long way in reducing or even reversing your hair fall. I am not saying it is a magic cure, and yes, it will have to be customized for each person. But it is not that you have to come all the way to me. What I will need is a proper full body checkup and also a detailed history from your side. When did you notice hair loss? What was happening in your life around that time? Was there too much stress? Had you changed your nutrition? Had you started following some unhealthy addictions or practices? So we can do that thing. Now, epigenetic measures are much more personalized according to your patient history and involves feeding of the hair follicle roots or stem cells there with a microneedling based home use approach. So we can feed the healthy supplements by creating channels during microneedling. The skin is impervious for all practical purposes. So creating channels with microneedling ensures that we can make sure that these nutrients, these supplements, these healthy things reach the hair follicle and its stem cell where they can utilize them. So more details will be available on request, and of course, since they will vary individually, you can contact me by WhatsApp or my email. And remember that we don't advocate medicines with questionable effects and those with serious side effects like finasteride. I'm not advocating finasteride for you. But yes, there are other good things like microneedling followed by resveratrol, grapeseed extract, even NMN, nicotinamide mononucleotide. These are things which have been proven by research to work at shifting the hair follicles from resting or falling phase, the telogen phase, to the actively growing phase, which improves hair growth. If you want links to any of those research, please let me know. I'll be happy to share them. So I'll be looking forward to your messages. Thank you.